All right, good evening, everyone. Can everybody hear me okay? Great. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for being with us this evening. Who has been to Book Larder before? Okay, wow.
Everybody.
Wow, oh my God.
Who hasn't been to Book Larder? Okay, hi. Welcome. Thank you so much for being with us. We are celebrating our 14th year in business this October. And yes, thank you. And we are indebted to everybody for their support over the years. So thank you for being with us tonight and all the other nights. So a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. All your books are already signed. So if you do have to head out after the talk, you can do so. But if you would like to have your book personalized by Joshua, you may stay and he will do that. We do have a bit of a process for how we do that in our small space. So hang out in your seats after the Q&A and I'll be back with some instructions. So we are extremely excited this evening to welcome back Joshua McFadden to celebrate pasta in all its glory, 6 seasons of pasta, which came out today. Congratulations, Joshua.
Thank you.
I'm sure many of you have Joshua's other books, 6 Seasons and Grains for Every Season. 6 Seasons won a James Beard Award in 2018, and Grains for Every Season came out in 2021, I want to say. Sure. A great book. We have copies of all of Joshua's books for sale. And we are just thrilled about this book and so excited to have Joshua in conversation with Frankie Gaw, local author as well, author of First Generation, which we also have this evening. So Joshua and Frankie are going to chat, and then we will have time for all of your questions. So please be thinking of your questions, pasta related, preferably. So we'll do that, and then I will be back after the Q&A with some instructions on personalization. So for now, please join me in welcoming Joshua and Frankie.
Hi, everyone. Oh, this is a mic. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Happy Pub Day.
Congrats. Thank you.
How does it feel to have it finally out in the world?
It feels really good. This one was, as I was saying, I worked on harder on this one than the last 2 combined. It was a very personal subject, and I think that people often think that it's so easy to make pasta, and I don't think that it is. And I think this will help make it better.
Totally. So I want to actually start with your childhood and upbringing. So one thing that we share in common is that we're both Midwest boys, and you grew up in Wisconsin. If childhood you in Wisconsin could design the perfect food day with all your favorite foods, what would that day look like?
Oh, that's amazing. Well, I really love the tavern-style pizza from the Midwest, and specifically Wisconsin, where it's cut in squares, but not like Detroit. It's really thin and crispy. That was amazing. I grew up in like the idea that I was on farms, and that sounds romantic, and it was. Looking back on like my first flavor memory was rhubarb and like a sugar pail.
Wow.
And then like warm tomatoes, but then at the same time I remember McDonald's and like really not so great spaghetti and things like that.
Yeah.
So I really, the pizza I would say, and then like also just like at my grandmother's table with the pasta that kind of inspired me to do all this.
Yeah. So you're basically like munching on garden things and then like housing Big Macs, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Big fan of
That
McDonald's
like
breakfast.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, so good. And before you went to culinary school and before you were like a chef and a farmer, I heard that you were a film student in Columbia College in Chicago.
Yep.
I would love to know the story behind how you chose film initially.
I love, and I think in stories and places, and like my mom was an interior designer, my dad was an industrial arts teacher, and just I love movies, I still do, and went to film school, and my professors kept being like, what do you want to like concentrate on? I'm like, I want to make movies. And they're like, no, you need to do, I'm like, no, I want to do the whole thing. And then at that same time, I started going out to all these different restaurants and was very inspired by not only the food, but most often the spaces. And I started making the same connection that I would with like a film with a restaurant, where you're making all these decisions that are involved in all the arts.
Yeah.
And then I went to culinary school. Still don't know if that's good or bad, but I did.
Do you feel like, if you could make a film now, like what do you think you would make?
Oh, sounds crazy, but I remember even back at that time, I was really interested in the movie Before Sunrise and that series, but also like one of my favorite movies was Silence of the Lambs. So somehow imagine putting those together.
Yeah. Okay.
Everyone's like, I'm out of here.
And then you said your parents were interior designer?
My mom was, and my dad was an industrial arts teacher.
How did that, like, because those are like pretty creative sort of jobs. Like, how did that sort of shape your approach to food, would you say? Like growing up with two creative people?
That's a great question. I don't know if it was necessarily the food. I think, I remember my dad had a Paul Newman cookbook. I hope you have one of those here. And he made this chicken and artichoke dish that I've turned into a pasta in there. And my mom would also cook a lot. So I don't think it was necessarily those that inspired me about cooking. I think it was more about wanting to be a part of restaurants. And then my love of food kind of created that drive to go and figure it out, because I didn't want to like fake it, and I wanted to understand how to do it before I opened a restaurant.
Yeah. Do you feel like, I feel like between you, your mom being an interior designer, your dad being like an architect, like you guys are kind of like the perfect recipe to like create like a family restaurant. Like, would you ever go into business with your parents?
You know the answer to that.
Just curious. So no.
Just leave that right there.
No, I feel you. I would never either. I want to shift to sort of like your come up through the food scene, and specifically I want to talk about food trends. So you are famously the creator of a kale salad that sort of like sparked the whole raw kale movement. And then also like butter boards, which I also didn't know was you either, which is crazy because I feel like I see that like all over social media.
That's pretty funny.
I'm curious from your perspective, like, what is it like to see something that you created shift from being your own thing to belonging to like the broader food culture and the internet?
That's great. I definitely am mature enough to realize like how impactful that is and was.
Yeah.
I'm not naive to it, and I feel very honored to have channeled that.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty big.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
Well, the kale salad, the butterboard thing, that's the world we live in.
Yeah.
But no, it feels good. It was really special.
Yeah.
I mean, it was from a pure place, so
Yeah.
I wasn't like trying
Yeah.
to do that. So the fact that happened, I think, is very special.
Was there like a moment like where you realized that it sort of crossed over into like mainstream food? Like, was there like, I don't know.
I don't know. I think maybe yes, I know, but I don't know exactly like when. I mean, I still think about it as like this is wild.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it really is wild.
Hopefully, Big Kale is like giving you some.
No, I never got it. Nothing.
Which is crazy. Do you feel like there are any ingredients or techniques that are like slept on that should have its moment in the spotlight?
I don't know. I'm happy to see that like fermentation and pickling is becoming a really big thing.
Yeah.
Even just eating, but preservation. And I just bought a Japanese one that just came out that I think is really cool, of salting instead of brining. So I'm happy that that's starting to be more common in America.
Yeah, totally. And then speaking of like ingredients and produce, you have been restoring a farm in Oregon called Bernie Farm?
Bernie Farm, yeah.
Once it's fully restored, can you paint a picture of like what your dream is for that property and like what you're doing, what people are doing, how people are interacting with it?
Right. I originally bought it. It's a 50-acre farm. The family was called the Bernies, and it's in the Gorge, so it's about 35 minutes outside of Portland. And I originally bought it like 7 years ago, so it was before the pandemic. And it was intended to be something for the restaurant group that I had at the time, where we could do our own events, our own food. I would always call it like the university model, where the staff can like sign up from work for the summer or like work for blocks of time. And that was the original goal. That was always something I wanted to do. I always became very, I didn't enjoy a lot of the farm events that people still do now. I don't think you should have to pay $250 or $300 to sit in a farm field. I think it's ridiculous.
Are you talking about like those big long table ones where you're like?
I might be.
Okay. Yeah.
So I really wanted to kind of ground it and center it around that. And then the pandemic happened, and then I sold off my restaurants, and the farm was something that I owned. So I have been living there for the last 3 years, even though I bought it 7 years ago, and working on it and just trying to figure out what it is. And what it will be something that I leave in a trust, so it'll be a forever farm.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm working towards it being like an ecology center. So I would like to start at a nonprofit. So start raising money next year, and then probably in 3 to 5 years, turn it into public facing events. From U-Picks to living classes to all these different things, and then doing dinners, doing things just like this, but on a farm, where you don't have to pay like $300. So it'll be big, and then from there, there's no shortage of ideas. Like we would love to make vinegar, like that vinegar right there, which is like the best in the world. We have bees right now. We have chickens. I love design as you do. So candles, soap, like just things that come from that. So
cool.
It's endless.
Yeah. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a city boy, so I have very little experience with farming. But I feel like I would love to know, like, what is like a typical day on the farm like? Like, are you like?
Oh, that's great.
Like, what are you like? What's the routine? Like, what are you wearing? Like, what are you digging? Like,
well,
are you petting goats? Like, what's
what
the
are you
situation?
wearing? I love it. That's great. And you called yourself out for being a city boy.
No, I can admit that for sure.
No, it's actually, I mean, it's always every day watering things and doing things. Okay. But when Friday comes around, it feels really good because I will literally, I don't know where my phone is like for the entire weekend, which is just so amazing. Yeah. Because I'll be like out doing all these different things and like come in and like check something at like 5 and then go back out and do stuff. So that probably would sell the vision of what it's like the most for me. I'm obsessed with trees, planting trees, and I've had to take down a lot of trees to be able to plant more trees because they weren't healthy. And I'm really excited to be able to start getting into the orchard and the fencing and a lot of the big structural things. Yeah. But I love it.
Are you doing this all yourself, or are you like?
I have a lot of. My partner she takes care of the bees and the chickens and the animals, and we do the landscaping together, which is amazing, and a lot of the watering, which is daily. And again, like I said, next year I want to start fundraising to be able to have some level of staff, and then I have people that are helping me with the house as far as like the construction and doing all the things to get ready to be able to do dinners. But a lot of it's done, it's a small group of people.
Crazy. You also, on top of farming, you have owned a lot of restaurants in the past in Portland. I have sort of like a very niche restaurant question because I saw that you thanked like Bob Dylan, Tom Petty in your past books. You've also like talked about Rick Rubin. So I am very curious, like, what is your idea of the perfect restaurant soundtrack?
Well, the Rolling Stones are always perfect. It really is. It is.
Is there
like
a specific
weird thing.
album or just the whole catalog?
No, definitely not. The X on Main Street is really fun. Beggar's Banquet. In that vibe, it's just kind of like it kind of becomes more background, which is really nice. Yeah. So it's not like straight away. Yeah. That one is selfishly something that is easy to put on that people can most likely agree with. Okay. Because it does just fade away. But music in restaurants is such a difficult thing. Yeah.
Like how do you typically think about music? Like is it like what blends in or like what gets people like?
I think that I've often said the 3 most important things for a great restaurant is the lighting, the HVAC, and the sound. And so what I mean by that is the lighting should be dark as it possibly can get, in my opinion. Okay. And then the HVAC, you should never feel like you're hot or cold. And then with the sound, you should be able to have a conversation like this, but then there's music in the background. And I'm really happy that a lot of great restaurants are really taking that seriously now, especially as I'm getting older. But it feels good to be in a restaurant that considers that. Yeah, and totally. Like you can have a conversation, but it's also like really loud and fun.
Yeah, I never would have thought HVAC, but it's like I feel like it's like the things that you like don't even notice. No,
it's so true.
Okay. I want to move on to your cookbook, 6 Seasons of Pasta, which is why we're here today. Woo. You started with vegetables for the first one, and then you did grains for the second one. It kind of feels like you were like going through all the different food groups, right? Like, I guess there's like fruit and what else?
That
what
might
else
be
is
next.
yeah, there's fruit. What else is in the pyramid? It's like fruit, sugar, candy.
Yeah, we can't do sugar.
Yeah.
What else? Meat?
Yeah,
seafood,
meat. Okay, yeah.
dairy.
Okay. But yeah, you chose pasta out of all of them. Like, how did you decide on pasta when you were coming up with this?
I just think we all went through such a crazy time with the pandemic, and for me, it was just something that I loved the most and wanted to spend the most time like doing and just focusing on something. And I think we all could use a little more pasta in our life, and it's really cool too because it's all dried pasta, which I'm sure you all can tell now. So if you want gluten-free noodles, you just sub them out. And I think that's a really important thing for people right now.
Yeah, totally. What's your recipe development process like? Like, are you a big planner? Like, do you like map out everything that you're doing for the book, or are you more seasonal where you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna grab all my produce and my ingredients and just kind of let the recipes come from that?
I think it's definitely not linear. It's all over the place. So there's an outline that gets crossed off and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And then being inspired by things, going back to things that I've liked, things that I've enjoyed, flavor memories, ideas of things, failures, successes. And then, to be honest, like the 6-season model is amazing.
Yeah.
But it's also really a difficult place because it's like I've never had a turnip pasta, for example, and there's one in there, and I love it. And I never would have even ever thought to do something like that if I didn't have to like structure and think about like, well, does the world need this? Is this good? And it's in there because it's amazing. Yeah. But so I have to like kind of honor that, which I think is very important, and I would like to think why we're here.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all over the place.
Yeah. So are you basically like recipe developing with the seasons, or like would you have to like do a tomato recipe in the winter during this,
No, it was funny. Like we did a lot of. I'm really fortunate that AJ Meeker, the photographer, lives very close. So we just have these weekends where we'll just do like 12, 14, 20 shots in a day, and it's just the two of us.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. So you don't hire food stylists. You don't do.
No.
Okay.
And so we will just be making pastas, and it's really, really interesting to watch him respond to pastas, or just food in general sometimes. Because you would think that after doing all this for all these years, he would understand it more, but he's still just like, what is this? and it's so authentic, So like the turnip pasta, for example, he ate, and he came around the corner. He's like, I have a really good feeling about this book. And I was like, oh, we're good.
Yeah.
And then like one of the last photo shoots was the Pomodoro, because I didn't do any of the things that I knew exactly what I wanted and knew I could do. Yeah. And I was doing that, and he was just like, what is this? And it's like the most classic one in the world, right?
Yeah.
So, it's all over the place.
Yeah. Who else is on your, like when you're approaching like a cookbook shoot? Because I think you shot all 125 recipes, right? Like who's on
That was very important for me,
Yeah.
And also the way it's stylized. I wanted you to be able to have it and be able to be like, that's what I'm.
Yeah.
So I think it's super important.
I feel like the photos are really like unfussy, which I love. Like I feel like a lot of times with like pasta cookbooks, like everything is in like perfect bundles, and I'm like, oh, it's like not how anyone eats it at home. So
exactly.
Who else was like on your team when you were sort of like pulling together this shoot? Is it you, the photographer?
That's it.
Oh wow, that's it.
That's it.
That's amazing. And then how long are you shooting for? Like, are you shooting like in bits and pieces, or do you?
I think that we probably shot like 20 times, like 20 shoots.
Yeah.
And he will every once in a while pick up on like, he'll be looking at something and be like, did we do this? And I'd be like, yeah, but I forgot the scallions, or like something like I'm changing it or doing something, so he'll get a little annoyed with that because it's just the creative process that changes, or the ingredients changed. But yeah, it was just like, I think it was right around 20 shoots.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are there any like recipes or photo spreads that you feel really proud of in the book that you feel like people should check out?
Well, all of them.
All your babies.
No, I mean that because like if you look at the cacio pepe, like that's the way cacio pepe would look if you're in Rome. Yeah. The butternut squash one, like you can see the sauce in the pan. The pomodoro, you're always, when you're making pasta, you want to sauce the noodle with not too much and just the right amount.
Yeah.
So you're always kind of that line, and that's a very important place to be. So that's why a lot of all those recipes are like that, because that's what it, in my opinion, should be.
Yeah, totally. So we're gonna transition to a game. I like to play a little game usually in my interviews. This one is called 6 Seasons of Fast Food.
How did I know this was gonna happen? We already talked about McDonald's. I always get in trouble with this stuff.
Yeah.
What's your favorite cheese on a burger? American.
So I'm gonna present to you 4 fast food scenarios, and you'll have to come up with a dish for it. And you get a prize at the end, and you can't lose. So, and if you can't think of anything, you can just say pass.
Pass.
So,
Can I call
it's a
on
win-win
Can I call on a friend?
yeah, you could call a friend. All right, so the first scenario is your company, Submarine Hospitality, buys McDonald's for the price of $1 billion and 4 golden cows from Bernie Farm. As the new owner, you get to create your own McDonald's signature item that will exist within the pantheon of Big Macs, McNuggets, and more. What would your signature item be?
Oh, man. Okay. So if you went to McDonald's right now and you ordered how does it go? A quarter pounder with cheese, no ketchup.
Quarter pounder cheese, okay.
And then you ask for mac sauce and shredded lettuce. And then they're getting it. And then you say, and can you steam the bun?
Oh.
That's gonna happen 50% of the time, even though they can. They have these little steamers that are for the buns that are for the filet of fish. That's why it's so good.
That's such a deep cut, I had no idea.
So you have to kind of convince them into this, but when you do it, it's like literally the people or like chefs I've told to go do this. It's like what the fuck?
That's like
It's like the best fast food burger there is. Especially now that they have the new buns. So I would just steam the buns.
okay, yeah, simple. What was your you were saying that breakfast was your favorite?
It was. I think it's so bad now that it's honestly. I mean, obviously, right? But it's I don't know. It doesn't have the same feeling as when I was a kid.
Totally. Okay, that was a good answer. All right, second scenario is Taco Bell's marketing team goes on a company
I'm waiting
trip.
for them to call me.
Dude,
I do consulting for a lot of people. I do consulting for Burger Bowl, so I'm waiting. And I'm just gonna say, jump in and be
I
like,
think
double
you're
decker, double decker.
Yes. Okay, Taco Bell's marketing team goes on a company trip to Italy, and they're so inspired that Italian food becomes their whole personality. They find your consulting arm and call you up and are like, we need a Mexican-Italian pasta dish for the spring. What would your Mexican-Italian pasta creation be?
A Mexican-Italian pasta dish.
For spring.
So it's gonna have ramps.
I was gonna say, yeah, ramps.
Chorizo.
You're doing
Let's do like a salsa macho with peas in it.
Ooh, okay.
And some charred asparagus.
Wow.
But is that for Taco Bell? No, that should be in the book.
Yeah, I was gonna
Taco
say, yeah. You gotta keep that one for yourself. All right, the third one. The CEO of Dairy Queen reads your cookbooks and is so moved that he pivots their entire company's strategy to seasonality. He calls on you to create your very own signature blizzard for the summer. But the catch is that they want you to use a vegetable. What would your summer ice cream blizzard be?
My summer blizzard. When I was young, like I was probably like 10 or somewhere right around there, I lived like a block from a Dairy Queen.
Really? Okay.
And I would go every single day, and I worked my way through every flavor of the Mr. Misty. And they were independently owned, so you could get a Sloppy Joe. So I'd have a Sloppy Joe, Funyuns, and then I just went through it all. And then I went back, and you could do it as a, you add ice cream in it, or soft serve, I can't remember what it's called, but then I just did a freeze, right? Yeah. And then you just go right back to the blue raspberry, because they invented a blue raspberry, so of course it's good. But then I had that recently, and it was the worst
Wait,
thing.
really?
Yeah, I was like with my friend, she's like, what the fuck? And it's just so, like your jaw hurts. Like, but the ice cream is great. The blizzards are great. So my summer blizzard, was that the thing?
Summer vegetable blizzard.
Vegetable. It's not gonna sell.
It's okay.
Oh man, I don't know. I'd probably do something with tomatoes. That's a fruit though, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know. I'm calling in a friend. What would you do?
I think
Corn. Yeah.
I think I would do corn.
Yeah, with like caramel corn.
Yeah, caramel corn.
See, we did it. I think
Yeah,
I'll call.
like
Let's do this.
Snickers blended in. That could be nice.
That'd be really nice.
You should call them. Wait, what was your favorite Dairy Queen order? You said blue raspberry?
Yeah, the one with the ice cream, the freeze.
Yeah,
Really
it is
good.
crazy. Like, I feel like I also have these like junk food memories that I'm like, oh man, it's so good. And then you like try it and you're like,
Oh,
why is it? Like, I think I had Sprite the other day and I was like, what is this?
I think
like,
I think the only one that still like is I find delicious is, which I don't have very often, but is Gatorade.
Yes.
Because my dad was a cross country coach, so I would go and they had it mixed.
Oh, like the powdered Gatorade.
So, but it's like that's actually very refreshing.
Yeah.
in some
No,
ways.
Gatorade's great.
Yeah.
All right, the last scenario is your beloved Dr. Pepper decides to sponsor the entire second reprinting of 6 seasons of pasta. They pay you a shitload of money, but in return, you must incorporate Dr. Pepper as an ingredient into one of your cookbook's recipes. Which recipe would you choose to add Dr. Pepper?
I think we could do the bolognese
Yeah, okay, yeah.
and sub out the wine with Dr. Pepper.
Ooh.
And it would be good, but we'd piss off a lot of people.
I think it would be good though.
I think it would be very good.
Yeah. Or like even any of like the ragouts, like I feel like you could crush with the Dr. Pepper.
The short rib one
Short
with
rib.
the peppers. Yep.
Yeah. All right, that's it. You win. You win. Hold on, I have a prize. All right, this is your prize. It's a custom pasta box with it says Joshua McFadden.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That is
I don't know
so
what your
cool.
favorite pasta shape was, but I was like, oh, I'm just gonna pick one that looks fun.
This was perfect.
These are the last set of questions before we go to Q&A. So like if you have Q&A questions, we'll get to those soon. But so these questions are from people you know / are your friends. So this first one's from Martha Holmberg, your co-author. She asked, why do you resent farfalle, aka bowtie pasta, so much?
She knows. Does anybody else want to take that question? Can we just all agree to agree?
I think
that
you talk about it in the
it's
book,
just
right?
Super cute. Yeah, I can't stand
Yeah.
it. It just doesn't cook it doesn't cook right now.
In the
So
middle.
get it out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also feel like it just reminds me of like really shitty pasta salads.
Well said.
Trauma. Like
Because it is.
Ohio trauma. All right. This next question's from Peter Cho. He told me to ask you who invented the kale Caesar, and also ask him if he wants to take over one of my restaurants.
Chose. Who invented the kale Caesar? Is he just giving
That's
me
what
shit?
That's what he wrote. He said, who invented the kale Caesar?
This guy. Those aren't even questions. He's just giving me a jab up here.
Is he trolling you?
1,000%.
Okay. And would you take over one of his restaurants?
No.
No, because he has what?
He's doing so well. It's just every time I see him, he's just like, ah.
For those of you who don't know
since I've
Peter,
known him.
yeah,
But his restaurants are
he's a chef in Portland.
Yep.
Owns Han Oak.
Yep.
Right? Yeah.
And then
yeah.
what the other one? I can't remember. It's a
I think
barbecue.
it's like Jeju.
Yes, and that's
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah, I mean he's doing a great job. He's doing better than what I would do.
Yeah,
with-
you wouldn't do a pasta takeover of Korean.
No.
No.
Dr. Pepper.
This next one's from Sarah Kramer. She wants to know, why haven't we retired to Maine yet?
That is a great question. Let's phone a friend. We should.
Are you a big Maine person?
I love Maine, but I moved here because of the San Juan Islands and the Sunshine Coast. And but I love Maine.
Yeah. I've actually never been to Maine, so the only thing I know is like lobsters.
Just go up. You have to get up into down east, up in like the Penobscot Bay area, where it really starts. So,
Okay.
like Rockland, and then up, and then just keep going, and just magical.
Okay.
Magical.
Okay. This last question's from Gregory Gourdet. He would like to know, what would you do with the end of season tomatoes, like tomatoes growing in October, the last ones where some are still green as the plants start dying and shriveling? #climate change.
Conserva. That was an easy one. He knows this. That's in the book. Yeah, I would just continue making it into your own tomato paste.
Yeah. What do you usually make with the tomatoes? Like just like sauces and.
I add it to even like the matriciana or the pomodoro at the beginning when you're caramelizing things.
Yeah.
Just to give it that other depth. But now I'm gonna add Dr. Pepper.
Perfect. All right, this is my last question before we go to Q&A. But what would you say, like, if you were like, 60 and retired, like, what's your like dream future retirement situation? Like, what are you doing?
It's a boat and it's in the San Juan Islands.
Which island?
Excuse me. That's a great question. I mean, I'd love to be up in Canada on the Sunshine Coast if I could. But
Okay.
Lopez, I think.
Oh yeah, Lopez. Okay. Yeah. And what are you just like chilling on the beach? Are you fishing? Are you?
I think I need to get into fishing if I'm gonna have a boat, obviously.
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
don't do it much. I just like being on a boat. Just like reading a book in a hammock and finding a place to go. And
Nice.
I really want to put a little pizza oven on the back of the boat.
Oh, that sounds so fun.
Doesn't it sound fun? I like go into a mooring and like sell them to people. They're like,
Yeah. Amazing. All right, I think we're gonna open to Q&A. Does anyone have any questions that they want to ask? Yeah.
I love fresh pasta, but it's really, I just think about dumpling form. So ravioli or gnocchi or those things. And then like pappardelle, tagliatelle in a ragu and things like that I think are amazing, but I most often enjoy it when it's a little bit thicker than what it's supposed to be traditionally. But yeah, it's amazing. There's more people eating dry pasta right now in Italy than there is fresh. Like way more. And I just think when you think about it, it's like you're not going to do like a clam dish with like a fresh linguine or like something like that. I just don't think it would eat right. And I think your brain would be like, something's not right. So it's kind of the way I've always thought about it. I didn't realize that until I started cooking professionally about dry pasta. I thought it was the other way. And so does everyone else, because the entire time I had an Italian restaurant, they'd be like, the first thing they would always just assume, I love fresh pasta. I'm like, I mean, we don't really do it, but yeah.
Cool. Does anyone else have any? Yeah.
That. But one of the things I don't know if you've noticed in the book, all the recipes are for two. And I did that, and we had a big fight about that with my publisher because it doesn't theoretically make sense, but here's the pitch. Once you understand how to do that, you can start scaling it up to 4. And then I think once you start even getting above 4, you're kind of in your own territory, even for me. You need a bigger pan, you need to be paying attention, you need to really like take it out of the pot sooner so you can cook it in the sauce longer. So I think that's probably the number one thing that people assume, that it's just like, oh, I have a bunch of people over and this is just gonna work. So again, I intentionally did that. So like, hopefully, I mean, we all learn from failure. So when that happens, like, this isn't as good as it was last week. So I made it for 2 people, right? So that connection, I hope, gets paid.
Anyone else have? Yeah.
It's a great question. Well, I'm hoping the book is kind of doing the job to some degree, and trying to figure out how to do more, I guess. I feel like I work with Organic Valley, and I was on a farm in Wisconsin a couple of months ago, and I had thought that, the work that I had started doing with 6 Seasons was kind of done, if you will, and then because there's just so much noise and influencer shit and all this stuff, and that's great because the people are cooking more than ever. They're more aware than ever. There's more access to better food than ever. But people are just as, if not more, confused than ever. So I do want to just kind of figure out how to continue that idea of like, how do you do this for yourself and what are you thinking about? And the whole idea of cooking, eating seasonally, I just think is one of the most important things, full stop. So.
Cool. Yeah.
We got really excited about classic like cannolis at one point because you can get them dried and then they can heat in the oven. And we started talking about it, and I started working on all that stuff, and I was like, this is going to be incredible. We can use all the ricottas and all these different ragus and teach people, and we could just never figure out how to do something that it felt like it was so on the nose of being something that you think is simple, but it just always kept going wrong. So that was kind of a bummer. I would have loved to be able to figure that out because I think it would have been really cool.
What's your working relationship with Martha, like your co-author? Like,
they wouldn't be done without her. I need a lot of help.
Yeah.
And she's just so talented at it. I knew when I did 6 seasons that I didn't want to write a chef book. Ever. I didn't like them. And so I would make it so I know it's great, but I would never take it as far as I would take it in a restaurant in some ways. That might sound odd, but it's just like, there's just more things you can continue doing at a restaurant that you're just never going to do unless you've spent 10 years in restaurants and working 100-hour weeks. Then it's just different. Yeah. So I just wanted her to be able to take something that I was doing and get it to that point that you all could do it at home.
Yeah.
And
like
that
she's
was
almost
very
like
important.
The filter for like the home cook in a way.
1,000%. Yeah. Because I would make it so complicated. And it shouldn't be. So it's like distilling it down and reducing it to its purity.
Yeah. Anyone else have? Yeah, in the back.
Well, now that I'm living on a farm and I'm outside of the city a little bit, I cook more now than I probably ever have at home. What's a what? What's a what?
He's girl dinner.
I have a lot of friends that drop off really amazing salmon, and I don't tell them this, but I turn them into salmon burgers. And put very little in them to flavor them, because then you can just make a different mayonnaise or, treat it differently. So that's probably something that I could go. I also am absolutely obsessed with Asian food. So I have just stocked, and Indian food. So I have a lot of that. So dumplings can happen really fast. Indian bread, when you can get the breads that aren't cooked all the way, and you can cook them in the clarified butter. And then Indian stores actually have really amazing packets of things that are like, there's no shit in them. It's just like real stuff, like lentils and all this different stuff. And that was a big thing for a year.
Yeah.
And there it is. So there it starts.
I'm a bucatini gal.
I love bucatini. I just say there it is because you're the first. It's I knew
the first of many.
And what I mean by that is I didn't realize that was going to happen on the first book. I'd never done it, but everyone was like, "What's your favorite vegetable?" And I didn't know. I think that bucatini is definitely one of my favorites, especially in the chicken noodle soup. I don't know. I think probably, yes, bucatini for a long noodle, and then mezza rigatoni for a short noodle, or casarecce.
Yeah.
Well, I'm fortunate enough that I won't have to make any money from it, so it'll be really mixed. So it won't have to have 3 different varieties in case something fails. It'll be like 300 varieties. So lots of stone fruits. I love peaches, plums, really old apples. I've been buying a lot of things from actually Cornell University back east, their starts. Love cherries, sour cherries in particular. Would love to get into nuts, maybe olives in some degree. There's some places on my farm where I could have olives, and then figure that out too. So, but all over the place.
Is there anything that's like really like in terms of like growing? Can you tell I don't know anything about farms? Is there anything that's like super hard to grow, or like what's like the most challenging thing to like take care of and sort of harvest and foster and
Well, it all is.
Yeah.
We have a hard time with tomatoes on this side of the country because our lovely nights are not lovely for tomatoes. I also live in a really windy area, so that's like where I'd have to defer to that, and it makes things a little bit challenging. But I often think that I prefer farmers that are doing less and not trying to bring the supermarket to the farmer's market. So I love when I find somebody that's like, well, I just have beans, or I have cherries, or I have this. Like, those are the ones Those are the real ones.
Got it.
So even when we have the farm up and going, I want to do way less. Like I would love to do forced rhubarb because no one does. That's very difficult. Do a bunch of things in the spring and then not do anything during the summer and not worry about tomatoes. No one really does English peas anymore. That's interesting. Or like snap peas. And like you go to the farmer's market in like June or July and there's snap peas. It's like, oh my God, what are we doing? So I'd love to be able to kind of usher in some of those like these moments of things. New potatoes is an amazing thing. I think I took your question in a different way and made
No.
Like
this is good.
those things are hard and people don't do them enough. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Yes. Got it. Here, we'll start here and then we can go back.
You want to take that one? Oh, that's a great one. I don't really like the jackets very much. And I've been fighting about this for over a decade. And they're like, you have to have food on them. I'm like, yeah, of course. So I've done everything I can to make them thoughtful, like the photos on the inside. And then since I'm fighting the whole thing, I picked out all the colors of everything. So that felt like enough. So I was just kind of like, just give me your best shot. And then I was like, yes, no, yes, yes. And then just kind of whittled it down. And so it just looks like what it should look like, I think. Feels appropriate.
Yeah, I feel like it's always funny talking to cookbook authors and their covers because I feel like every single cookbook author, at least I've talked to, it's always like you're like in this like dysfunctional relationship with your publisher around what is going to go on the cover and what's not. So.
And it's always like on a Friday.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, well, think about it over the weekend.
Yeah, in the back.
I wish. I don't think there's. Yeah, I don't. I want to do something like that, and it would be honoring him, but I don't know if there's enough time. The entire grain book.
Yes, on sale over by the desk.
I mean that.
Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you, Joshua,
Thank
for
you.
doing this. Congratulations.